A year on from the death of George Floyd in the United States, a series of events are taking place to remember him and also to continue the campaign for change. George Floyd was killed by a police officer who knelt on his neck following an arrest in Minneapolis. It sparked protests around the world and in April led to the murder conviction of Officer Derek Chauvin. Well, this is the scene today. People are beginning to start gathering for a day of commemorations with art, speeches, songs and a candlelit vigil. Members of George Floyd's family are having a private meeting with President Joe Biden in the White House as he continues the push for a major reform of policing. Well, in the wake of George Floyd's death, there were protests here too, raising questions about race inequality and the role of police. But what, if anything, has changed? Have difficult conversations led to meaningful action? Not long ago, a government report concluded institutional racism simply doesn't exist in the UK. Our chief correspondent Tessa Chapman has been speaking to people who say their experiences suggest otherwise. A warning, her report contains an incident of racial abuse that you might find distressing.
The demonstrations after George Floyd's murder brought thousands onto the UK's streets. And it was about more than solidarity with America. It was a movement for change here too.
I remember feeling anger, rage, all the things that we always feel, and seeing people mobilise through that rage once again. It's that simultaneous heartbreak and energising feeling.
But as Amara reflects on the last year with her friend, a professor of black history, there's a sense of deflation and frustration.
I feel like the more things change, the more they say the same. I don't really know where the capacity for transformation is. I don't really know what our commitment to change is.
Let's put some money, let's do some stuff, but that's kind of dissipated, and that's never going to last. So I haven't seen anything meaningful happen.
This can't keep happening to me, man.
For Ryan Colasso, frequent stop and searches by police tell him nothing has changed. He filmed this on his phone as he drove home after giving a TV interview about his experiences of racism.
Every time I drive out, I'm prepared to be stopped. You know, obviously I work as a location manager in the film industry, which means I'm driving around the UK. So that's a number of police forces and ANPR cameras I'm passing. So these are things that are going through my head, and it does cause paranoia.
Officers found no drugs. At the time, the City of London police said the stop and search was lawful. They've now reopened the investigation into their actions. Amara and Kahindi believe it's a tactic that needs to change. They turn to reflect on another video that's gone viral. This white woman abusing a black bouncer in Birmingham this weekend.
I'm not surprised at all. It's no surprise that we haven't moved on. It's no surprise that here is this young white woman who is being abusive. And I'm just like, of course. What day is it? Tuesday? Oh yeah, you know, of course. This is the reality of our everyday.
Yeah, I mean, I think we kind of focus on those things, right? But those are symptoms of the problem. They're not really the problem.
Yeah.
Back in his office, the professor explains.
The problem is black women are 4 times more likely to die in childbirth. The problem is COVID-19 is far more likely to kill us because of where we live, because of the jobs, because of things we do, because of the economic issue. Those are the actual issues, and too often we're focusing on these very easy to see, very open racism, but we miss the bigger point.
The government's race report, commissioned after George Floyd's death, concluded Britain does not have a systemic problem with racism and was met with anger by campaigners. Their hope lies in the energy they have seen in the last year, but the fight is hard and tiring. Tessa Chapman, 5 News, Birmingham.